We just started. Okay. Hello, everyone. So I'm Arun from NIIT. Okay. So today we have joined this webinar to talk about the advancements of 5G technology. Our eminent speaker for the day is Mr. David, who is a technology management expert and an electrical and electronics engineer, also a project management professional. He's the co-founder of Institute of ICT Professionals Ghana, and he's the first executive director for the institution. So I would like to invite Mr. David to enlighten us on the scope of the discussion for today's webinar. Please, Mr. David.
Thank you very much. Good morning to everyone. Happy to see you all. Please, can you see my screen? Can you see my screen?
It's showing presenting, but we cannot see anything right now. Yeah, it's showing something. Yes, it's
yeah, I can see.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. My name is David Gowu, as already mentioned. Today, I'm going to take you through a journey that we started here in Ghana and all over the world, where we got excited about mobile telephony or mobile technology. And the mobile technology has moved from the first generation called 1G up to the fifth generation now called 5G. So I'm going to take a few minutes to take you through the journey, and then we'll get to 5G, and then we would look at what are the prospects, what are the things that 5G will bring to us, just like the way we got excited about 2G or the first generation. Okay. First, we want to know what is this technology called 5G. It's a technology that is mainly a mobile technology that is going to provide us with high internet speed, 10 times or more the speed we are having now on 4G. And then it's going to power a lot of industries, and it's going to be used for big data, and it promises to actually revolutionize how we use mobile telephony or the internet. So basically, the technology we are talking about here is about a technology that provides us with high speed through the internet. And this technology is going to allow people to be able to use mobile telephony for any type of thing that they want to do. But there have been some controversies recently, so I really want to also take a minute of your time to go through these controversies so that we clear our mind before we move on. So we are in a very unusual times now where we have coronavirus, but for some reason, some people have linked the coronavirus to 5G technology. I just want to debunk the claim now that 5G is not linked to coronavirus. 5G technology is radio technology, and coronavirus is a disease caused by a virus. So these two are not linked together. There has been no research that has put them together as 5G causing coronavirus. So I just want to put that statement out there. Now let's come back to business. We've been talking about revolution, so I want to take you to what we call the first, the second, the third, and the fourth revolution, and why 5G is so important in this fourth industrial revolution. So somewhere in the 18th century, United Kingdom started what we call the first industrial revolution, where they started mechanizing and using steam to power industries, and we move away from doing things manual way to using industrial machines. Then we moved to mass production, where Henry Ford and others in the United States started with producing cars and all that, and then we came with our first plane by the Wright brothers, and that spurred up the second industrial revolution. Then in the 80s, 70s and 80s, we got what we call the electronics and IT system, which is the third industrial revolution, where internet came to play. We had a lot of electronic gadgets, television, and all that. But now we are in our cyber physical space, which is the fourth industrial revolution, basically connecting everything using the internet. And this requires a high speed. That is where 5G comes into play. So the journey for 5G technology, where we are today, started from the 80s. So the 80s, we came up with the first telephony, mobile telephony called the analog, which was the first generation of mobile telephony called 1G. Then we move on to 2G. So if you look at it, every year we get a new technology. In the 90s, we started with mobile telephony called the 2G. So in Ghana, let me bring you back to Ghana. In Ghana, we started with this mobile telephony in the early 1990s with the analog network called Mobitel. Mobitel eventually, changed to Bars and to Tigo, and now Airtel Tigo. So they were the first mobile telephony in Ghana that started our revolution. Now, we then move on to we then move on to we then move on to 3G, where we had a lot more mobile telephony networks coming to Ghana. But the first network that started 2G in Ghana, currently MTN, it was called Space Phone in 1996. And then later on, we got One Touch and then Bars, all coming in with 2G, and we were able to do text messages and basic data services. Then we move on to 3G, where we had Airtel coming in and all other networks moving on to 3G. We were able to make video calls and stuff like that. Recently, as recent as 2016, MTN started a 4G. Prior to that, a year before, we had Selfline and others also starting 4G network. Currently in Ghana, we don't have 5G, and we are looking forward to this excitement of getting 5G started in Ghana. So in between every technology, we have other things in between. For example, when 2G started, after that, there was the introduction of 2.5G that brought in the GPRS. Now, GPRS actually started a whole data revolution that we have today. So when it was discovered that we can actually put data or internet on the phone, a lot of development started from there. I was lucky to be part of the engineers that started deploying GPRS in Space Phone more than 15 years ago, where we deployed GPRS and we deployed Edge. And then we later on moved on to what is called the 3G, UMTS. And then we had the HSPA moving on to now 4G network. So if you look at it, we have different frequencies for different technologies, or we normally get standardized and use different frequencies at different times when we are introducing new technology, because we don't want to get rid of the existing technology. So now I think 1G is being phased out completely. We now have 2G, 3G, and 4G. We will soon be getting into the space of 5G. If you look at it currently in Ghana, 2G, we run it on 900 megahertz frequency, and 3G, we are on 1800. 2G, we do 900 and 1800, and then we have 3G, 4G, and 5G, all in different frequency bands, as you can see there on the chart. Speed is now very important, because as we move in and we want more data speed, we are changing the technologies to meet that. Let's look at what is going on and what are the projections for the mobile telephony business. If you look at this chart, you will see that we had, we started with 2G, the one on the bottom, where 5 years ago, a lot of people were using 2G, and then came 3G, but you see that 2G and 3G started going down, and it is projected that by 2025, 2G will come down to about 2 billion subscribers, 1 billion subscribers, 3G will be about 2 billion subscribers. But 4G and 5G will be picking up. So in the next 5 years, we'll be having a lot more 4G and then gradual increase in 5G. That is what is being projected. And it's projected that we'll have 8.9 billion connected devices or mobile connectivity. Currently, the world's population is 7.5 billion. So we're going to be having more mobile subscriptions than the number of people on the planet. Good. Now let's come home. Let's come to Ghana. What's our data looking like? If you look at the data here in Ghana, we have 40 million subscribers, almost 41 million subscribers. This data was taken from the NCA as of December 2019. That is 6 months ago. And our mobile penetration is 135%. What this means is that we have unique subscriptions of 40 million. It doesn't mean that everybody in Ghana is having a mobile phone. Some people have 2 or 3 devices to themselves, whilst others will have none. But generally, our mobile penetration is very, very, very high compared to the regional average. Now, let's look at data. Data is also moved up to 30 million, which is also now a bit above our normal 4G. Right. We are focusing on data because 5G is promising a lot more when it comes to data penetration. So if you look at this, you will see that the data penetration in Ghana is dominated by MTN, followed by Airtel Tigo before Vodafone. And if you look at our 4G subscription, it's still very, very low. We have only 2.3 million people connected on 4G, which means that we still have a long way to go when it comes to 4G before even the introduction of 5G. Now, most people are using 2G and 3G data, which is now 28 million subscribers. So most people on their phones, where they want to do WhatsApp or Facebook, they're using 2G or 3G data, which is Edge or HSPA. Right. Okay. Now, the focus is on data, and COVID-19 has shown that if you are not having your data infrastructure right, you are going to be in a lot of problems. You know, when you look at the 4G, the penetration is very high for MTN. They've taken 91% of the market share compared to the rest of the 4G mobile service providers. Let's go deep into why we are here, which is the 5G. Now, there's something we call the microwave spectrum. So every mobile telephony that we have or technology that we have is actually deployed on frequencies. And the frequencies are the ones that are used to either transmit or communicate to and from the devices. So for example, we have our 2G network, you know, using 900 frequency. We have our 3G 2100 frequency. Now we're going to do the 5G, which will all fall within the 300 megahertz and the 300 gigahertz frequency band. This frequency band is called non-ionizing frequency band because the spectrum or the frequencies there are not harmful to human life. But if you go to the extreme, if you go to my left, you see that we also have infrared, we have ultraviolet, we have X-ray. These ones are very, very, very dangerous to human health. But the ones to my right, they are not that dangerous, because these are the frequency that we use, which is called the microwave frequency. Let's look at some of the applications. For example, the radio networks that we have, the televisions, all those things that you connect to without any cable, they are using frequencies to transmit. So we have the satellite frequencies, the ones for radio, and all that, and the breakdown is here. Now, before any technology is started, we have what we called the standardization. So 5G technology has also gone through this standardization and the development stage. So I was fortunate to be part of a training that shed more light on how the standards are being set for 5G technology. That was 3 years ago. A training organized by ITU. Now, ITU is International Telecommunication Union. This organization is one of the agencies of the United Nations, and they are responsible for standardization of all these mobile telephony and communication systems across the globe. They work with a lot of member countries. So in Ghana, they work with our National Communication Authority and the Ministry of Communication. Now, the 3GPP partnership, which is the third generation partnership project, they are also part of the team that are involved in standardizing all new mobile telephony technologies. So these two organizations are involved in setting the standard for our 5G technology. So if you look, every technology evolves. So 3G evolved into 4G. 4G is now evolving into 5G. So I believe by 2030, we should have 6G also, 5G also developing into 6G, because data is where we are going. Now, let's look at the frequencies, because some people raise concerns about the frequencies that are being used for the mobile telephony or the 5G technology. If you look at this, you will see that we have different frequencies for different use. For low penetration or low data, we have set of frequencies that we use. If you want high penetration, we have set of frequencies that we use. And mobile networks are actually deploying a combination of frequencies to be able to meet the requirement of their subscribers. Here's a typical example. So you see, for a network, they're using 6 to 15 gigahertz frequency or narrow band. Then they use a different frequency band, which is 18 to 42 gigahertz. And then they use a high wide frequency band for big data. If you want a lot of frequency spectrum to transmit a lot of big data, then you go to the higher end. For those that are used for simple things, then we use the lower frequency. We'll see the breakdown as we move along. Now, networks are normally set up to coexist. So in Ghana at the moment, we have 2G, 3G, and 4G network or technologies all coexisting or on the same site. Now, we're also going to be having the 5G network that will also coexist with 2G, 3G, and 4G. And eventually, 2G will be swapped out, and then we'll be left with 3G, 4G, and 5G. And they will coexist. Some of them will even be in the same antennas, but they will be performing different functions. This is how a typical 5G technology architecture looks like. You will see different servers. You have different cells, the micro cells, the pico cells, the macro cells, and they all interconnect. And based on the use cases, they will either downgrade to a macro, micro, or pico cell. So if everything is set, let's give ourselves the next 10 years and we have our 5Gs deployed, just like the way we have 3G and 4G. We're going to be having 5G technology that will be used in a lot of things, for especially when we come to smart cities. So we'll be having it in health centers. For example, there will be surgeries going on here in Kolebu, and the doctors will be in Kolebu, and they'll be connecting to doctors in maybe any teaching hospital or any remote hospital somewhere, and they'll be able to use the 5G network that will give them clarity, give them the picture that they need to help in delivering of health services. We will also have smart parking, we'll have driverless cars, we'll have a lot of things, utilities management, all these things will come. And one of the things I'm actually looking forward to is a situation where we'll have traffic management being done automatically using sensors and robots to control the traffic at the traffic lights, and the traffic lights will be able to operate and determine when they should go. They should give some people way to pass and some people to stop, and this will be exciting. So 5G is not far away from us. Actually, there are some people already holding 5G capable handsets in town. The only thing is that they don't have the network to connect to. So Samsung is already producing 5G capable handsets, and those of you buying new handsets will already be having 5G capable handsets. It's just a matter of time when the technology starts and you start using them. We will also have the Wi-Fi, which will be 5G capable, and you'll be able to see the speed on it. And this is produced by HTC. So like I mentioned, you see the Galaxy phones are already here. They are 5G capable. They started releasing them last year. So we should, those who are buying recent phones will be having 5G capable devices. Now let's look at the network, or the what we call original equipment manufacturers, OEMs, that are behind this 5G technology. We have Ericsson from Sweden. We have Huawei from China. We have Nokia from Finland. We have other smaller ones like ZTE and other ones that are all in the 5G race, producing equipment that will be used for the deployment of 5G technology. There are some other providers like Cisco and all that provide servers and all that part of the 5G deployment. So it's an IT-based thing, it's a cloud-based thing, so a lot of other players are involved. But those who actually produce the main devices that we use for the infrastructure, the bigger infrastructure in terms of the towers, the antennas, and the servers, these are the company. Huawei and Ericsson are actually competing very much, and Nokia also in the game. Now they also, so this technology, different companies produce different parts, or they have patent distribution here. So Huawei is leading the chart when it comes to a lot of the patents on the 5G. They have actually done a lot of research. We also have Cisco, we have Ericsson, all these other players. What it means is that if you don't have some parts, or you are not able to produce some part of the component or the software, you can actually pay for it, and the one with the patent will actually be paid so that you can use that software or that hardware component. So that is how the patent is done. Good. Now let's look at the 5G capabilities. What are the things that our 5G can do? One, it will give us high reliability. So today we connect and then people disconnect because the internet speed is not good. So we're going to get good speed. We can download a lot within a very, very short time. The least being promised is 1 gig per second, and it can even go as much as 10 gig per second, which is very, very good. Then round trip time, which is the latency, is also reduced very much to 5 milliseconds. I remember a decade ago when we were doing tests, we were aiming for 500 milliseconds. but now it's as low as 5 milliseconds. That is really, really good. And then there will be a lot of connected devices. You know, there will be 1 million connected devices in a 1 square kilometer. Okay. The application of the technology, as we mentioned, one of the things that are being talked about very much, which I know in Ghana it will take a long time to come, is the driverless cars. You know, so with the technology, you know, you can sit in a car like the way you call an Uber. The Uber will come, but there will be no driver to pull up, come over, you join, you tell the car where you are going, and you will be just taken to your destination. But that will take a pretty long time for it to happen in Ghana. But it is not impossible. It's going to happen. So this is an application, like I mentioned to you, 5G technology being deployed to help in traffic management for people to move in and out. And that is something that, you know, we can have. Good. Let's look at the distribution again worldwide and the projections for the use of 5G. Now we are in 2020, and most of the 5G deployments will be for enterprise IoT. What is IoT? This is Internet of Things. So we are expecting that a lot of the deployment will be into connected devices, and all that. Then there will be smart homes devices where you have your appliances at home all being connected, just the way you connect your TV. And stuff like that. Good. Okay, what is the global projection on the 5G technology? It is projected that we would be having a lot more people connecting to the 5G. Even this was taken before the COVID-19 started, but the projections will now even be more than 20% higher because of COVID-19. And it is expected that a lot more networks will be deploying 5G from now to 2026. Now, let's look at how what has been done so far as at April 2020. So we have over 60 commercial 5G launches, which means a lot of networks, not in Ghana, but all other parts of the world. We'll show you what's going on in Africa also. A lot of networks have launched 5G. And the population, the penetration now is 7%. And then it is expected to grow up to 20% by 2025 in the next 5 years. We hope that in the next 5 years, we'll also have our first 5G network in Ghana. So this is what we have. And then if you look at a company like Ericsson, they've deployed or they've announced contracts with so many networks. In Africa, the only network they have announced is MTN. But if you look at America, if you look at Europe, you look at Middle East and East Asia, they've announced contract agreement with a lot of networks to deploy 5G, of which they are already deploying some. If you look at Huawei so far, between 2009 and 2013, they've invested over 600 million in research and development in 5G, and that has translated into what we have seen in terms of the patent that they have. And then they've also launched 50 5G commercial contracts they have announced, and also they are deploying a lot in different countries. So the future is looking good for 5G deployment, as you can see, in terms of the progress from the big equipment manufacturers at Huawei and Ericsson. Okay, let's come to our continent, Africa. We started a number of 5G, what we call trials, trying to see how it will look like. So in South Africa is done. They are going into deployment. In Egypt, the same. Nigeria did this just last year, November. Uganda also the same. So if you look at some of this is a trial done in Uganda on 5G by ZTE, and this one was done in Nigeria in November last year. So I can even see some of my former colleagues that I work with in Nigeria here in this picture. You know, the former CTO of MTN Ghana is now the CTO of MTN Nigeria is in this picture. And yeah, so they launched this with Huawei, not launch, trial with Huawei last year, November, and there's been no commercial. Now, that's it for 5G, but let's come back to what are the jobs available today as we prepare towards getting our 5G. Now, there's a research that has been conducted by International Finance Corporation in Ghana, and the research done by IFC shows that there'll be a lot of job opportunities for young people especially, and it is estimated that there will be 9 million jobs. This report was done in May 2019. So with COVID now, I believe this number again will shoot up in terms of the number of jobs that will be available from now till 2030. It's estimated that we'll have 9 million jobs. But how do you prepare for these jobs? One of the things that you do is those who are in school now, like those who are in IT training institutions, you have to take advantage of this opportunity. So if you're in NIIT, you are in Brookcrest, you are in all these company organizations, and you are now being trained, there are job opportunities. You have to get the hands-on skill to be able to do that. But it is important to start early. It is important to acquire practical skills. You don't have to just go to school and pass your exam, but you should be able to do. So, for example, our organization, we are involved in training people to have practical skills, especially kids that we have, so that by the time they get to higher levels, like going to higher learning of diploma in NIIT and other places, they will be able to already have the basic skill that they can build on. So it is important to start that way. And there are job opportunities in fiber optics installation because now with COVID and also with a lot of organization moving digital, there will be a need for people to have high-speed internet at home. So now we don't have 5G. What do we have? We have companies that are deploying fiber broadband. For example, I am currently doing this webinar because I have fiber broadband at home, and they offer very stable internet speed. So, but they are looking for people who can actually do fiber optics installation, splicing, and there are very few companies that are doing that. So it is important that you look at opportunities in this area, fiber optics installation, and that is a very good area. One company that I know doing this is called Admin Telecom. Admin Telecom is at Ajingano. Now, there's also software engineering, and this NIIT is one of the leading companies or one of the leading trainers since the last 20 years that have been involved in training people. So again, those who are already there are opportunities for you. We also do that, of course. We also train people in some of these areas, giving you the early skills that you need before you join the other thing. And now there are a lot of opportunities in this software area where you can even sit in Ghana and work for companies abroad and earn good money. Then there's the famous one, which is the USSD, the Unstructured Supplementary Service Data. This one is what we use today. Is an African invention. It is very, very good, and that is what we ride on. The mobile money that we use today, all these things that we use, star, something, hash, they are all configured using the USSD. So USSD configuration is something that people should go into and learn. The other areas are digital marketing, search engine optimization, Facebook, Instagram, a lot of businesses are going online, so there are opportunities in digital marketing and people need to learn. Then cybersecurity, especially ethical hacking, forensic and all this, these are areas that are in high demand, requires more training. I think a lot of organizations are doing this. I think NIIT is also doing this. So you have to look at areas like that because there's high demand, but it requires more training. Graphic design, I know NIIT is doing this. It's also another area that you can quickly learn because everything is going digital, so you can get opportunities. Then there's also the hardware and assembly. This area we haven't done too well. We don't have a lot of structured organizations that are doing this, but these are really big areas of opportunity because everybody is using a computer now, everybody's using a phone. The phones will get spoiled, they need repairs, and people need to take advantage of those opportunities. Okay, thank you very much. My name, once again, is David Gowu. I'm the Executive Director of the Institute of ICT Professionals Ghana. We are a professional association in Ghana, the largest, of course, and we have membership across all the domains of ICT, and we also run trainings. My contact is there, and also my email address if you want to get in touch with me, david.gowu. If you want to be part of our organization or you want to be part of the association, you can go to our website, www.iipgh.org/membership, and then you can sign up. Thank you very much. Thanks for the opportunity. I'm done with my presentation and ready to take questions.
Thank you, Mr. David. So guys, we're almost done for the day in this event. Okay. So we'll close now. Thank you for your time, everyone.
Okay, so there are no questions, and we can end.
So if anyone is having any questions, please feel free to ask the question. Mr. David is here with. Yes, please.
Are there any questions?
If anyone is having any questions, please unmute and speak out the question if you wish. Or you can also write in the chat window.
Okay. Somebody said, I have a question. The person is Vane Fadula.
Yeah, I think he's typing the question maybe.
Okay.
Okay. So we have a question here.
Yeah. Okay, so the first question from Vane is, what is the disadvantage of 5G to the human society? Okay, so there have been a lot of theories, like I mentioned from the beginning, that 5G causes coronavirus. That has been disputed because we don't have 5G in Ghana, but we're having coronavirus in Ghana, so that cannot be true. There are a lot of countries without 5G, but they still have coronavirus, so obviously that is not the truth. Now, the conversation about 5G having anything on human life is to do with the frequency band in which we are operating. So 5G is going to be moved into a free frequency band in the 70 to 100 gigahertz. And like I showed you earlier on, the the higher you go on the frequency band, the more dangerous it becomes. So although it has been tested and proven that 5G does not cause any harm, people are a bit worried and apprehensive that as we move into the higher frequency band, it may affect human life. But so far, all studies that have been conducted, although limited as they may be, it has not proven or indicated anything to do with any harm to the human health at the moment. We will have to do more tests as we deploy more of the technology, and then over a period of time, see whether there will be some results that shows any negativity. So for now, the lab tests and the deployment that have been done, the tests conducted, there has been no harm. Okay, I'll just follow up quickly with the second question from Vane. Now, the microwave frequency is also, this microwave that we use to cook or we use to heat food, it's using a frequency band, a frequency called 2.4 gigahertz. Now, the reason why it's called microwave is that there's a frequency band from 300 megahertz to 300 gigahertz called the microwave frequency band. I will show you once again the microwave frequency band. And this frequency band is okay, let me just show my microwave frequency band. Okay. Okay, I'll show you in a jiffy the frequency band I'm talking about. So this microwave frequency band is also used for different things. And the one that is used for cooking or heating of food, which we normally call microwave, is just one frequency, which is on 2.4 gigahertz. Now we also have it on 5 gigahertz. We also have it on different I think they even have some on 70 gigahertz, which is for yeah. So this microwave is just one frequency that is being used. Now there's another question that is, please, is MTN working for 5G in Ghana? Okay, so our regulator, which is National Communication Authority, they are the one that approve the frequencies that need to be used for all communication things. So the operator has not yet approved the trial yet for 5G, but I believe they are working on something like that, and very soon we should have a trial on 5G. Any more questions? I don't know what I have in. Okay. So the microwave frequency that is used for the microwave can be used for cooking. It's not a problem. The way it is done is that the frequency that is used is actually targeted on the food, and when heat is applied, it actually, it doesn't spread to all other parts of your building. It's targeted within the microwave, within the oven in which you cook. So we don't have any strong research that has proven that the microwave that is being used for cooking has caused any harm. Okay, so there's a question here. Please, why is it that the call rate between African countries are so high than that of European countries? Okay, there's something we call interconnect, like international calls. So most of our international calls are terminated and connected in Europe before they come to Africa. For example, if I want to make a call to Togo, the international route is such that the call goes to maybe France and then interconnect and come back to Togo. So in that, there are charges. So there are charges that are applied, and this makes it more expensive. If we can have our international call routing done locally within African countries, it will be cheaper. I will suggest that people now use more of internet than to make calls using the phone, because if you use Zoom, you use Google Meet, you use all these things to make your video calls, it will be way cheaper than trying to use the phone. Okay. So Arun, I think we are done. I don't have any more questions here.
Yeah, I also think like others do not have any questions regarding this. So if anyone else is having any questions, please feel free to ask. So Mr. David, I think like we are done here. Like people do not have any other questions.
Right. Thank you.
So thank you guys for joining this event. Like it has been a wonderful experience learning about this new technology, and hopefully we'll have like more events like this in the future.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
So let's close now.